went into audition for Flying Flamingo Sisters after I'd written the
Made
book.
you audition after you wrote the whole thing for everybody else?
Oh yeah, they had to. And by the way, they're really like, just authors, we don't usually cast them, so don't get your hopes up. And and I kept saying, no pressure, just give me a chance, And I auditioned, and it went really well. And they were like, well, what character would you like to play? So it was very exciting. It was the opposite of Lorne Michaels. But she, right on the spot, was like, what character do you think you should play? So that was really, really exciting. And to help me prepare to, before Flying Flamingo Sisters, they gave me a nonfiction book to record called How to Write a Book. I think it's called How to Write a Book. How to Write a Book. It's a longer title than that, I'm sorry, but that's how it starts. And then I did character voices in like an R.L. Stine multicast project. And then I did Flying Flamingo Sisters, playing the youngest sister, Franny Flamingo.
So you had already written it before you knew you were going to play Franny. The flag flicker, am I remembering that right, Franny, the flag flicker?
Yes, Franny's still trying to find the Flamingo Sisters. There are 3 Flamingo Sisters, Flo, Faye, and Franny. And Flo is an incredible ace pilot, and Faye is an ace mechanic / navigator, and Franny, the youngest, is still trying to find her role in the flying circus when we first meet the sisters.
I feel like, aside from the narrator, that's kind of the lead, yeah?
You know what? And it's so funny. I think it is. When I wrote it, I thought the oldest sister was the lead in my mind. I thought she was going to be the lead, and then of course the youngest sister ended up being the lead. But that's a big sister perspective as the oldest sibling. Of course, I just assumed the oldest sibling is the star. But I was proven wrong by myself. So
that's 2 books of younger siblings starring. So I assume next book has got to be the older sibling, right?
It's about time, right? Yeah.
So okay, before we get so obviously you had already written it. You couldn't then go and add, wait, I'm going to play Franny. Good news, I've written some extra monologues just for her. We're going to extend her speaking role.
No, it was locked in. And let me give you, just for your esteemed listeners who may not know about the Flying Flamingo Sisters, it's a 1930s radio drama adventure with sound effects and multiple actors and music, and it's so much fun. And it's a little Indiana Jones, it's a little Goonies, a little Lemony Snicket, and it's the story of these 3 Flamingo sisters whose parents are famous aviators in the 1930s, and their parents go missing somewhere over the Pacific, and the 3 sisters set out on this quest to save their parents and to find the Flamingo family fortune, all the while being chased by their evil Uncle Friedrich, who is hot on their tail and determined that girls can't fly. And the Flamingo sisters are just determined to prove Friedrich wrong. And we end up joining this incredible flying circus and flying over the so yes, that's and it's based on a somewhat true. Well, it's based on my family history. My grandfather was part of a real flying circus in the 1930s called the Hell Divers, and they flew all over the Midwest in biplanes, doing these incredible acrobatic tricks and wing walking and death-defying feats. So it's really, this story meant so much to me and so much to my dad, who is a pilot now and who is very close to his father. And my grandfather died before I was born, but I love that I got to tell some of our real family history in the Flying Flamingo Sisters.
So have you ever done any tricks on planes as research for the flamingos?
I have gone up with my dad in a small airplane. We did this. There's a program put on by the EAA, the Experimental Aircraft Association, called Young Eagles. And so when I was a kid, I got my Young Eagles badge for like going up on rides with my dad in the plane. But that's the extent of it.
So you're not on the wing doing flips and hanging upside down and all the rest of it?
Not yet, no. But my dad got his pilot's license before his driver's license. Like flying was really, really a big deal in their family. And what was really spectacular is that while I was writing Flying Flamingo Sisters, I was doing research about flying circuses, and I kept Googling the name of his flying circus, the Helldivers, and I couldn't find anything. And then one day I found this old Minnesota newspaper clipping from some weird newspaper archive, and there was this massive full-page article about the flying circus. It was this oversized newspaper, like a broadsheet size, and it detailed every trick and every name, and it had this incredible photograph of my grandfather, and there were two women in the circus, but only one woman was in the picture, and there was a little dog in the picture next to the airplane because he would perform in the tricks with them. And so of course I had to put a little dog in the Flying Flamingo Sisters to make this full circle. And no one in my family had ever seen this article, so I got all these reprints and gave them away as gifts to my dad and his siblings, and I have one for my wall, and it was just really, really special to uncover something that we'd never discovered before.
So, was that the alarm that means we need to wrap this thing up, or?
No, I'm so sorry. That was a text that just chimed in. I thought I had turned off my notifications.
Oh, no worries. I didn't know if maybe you had like muffins that were done and need to get them out of the oven.
Do you want me to try to turn those off? I'm so sorry. I think we're okay now. I hope.
I think we're good. If it comes again, then the esteemed audience will just be thinking about how much fun baking would be. Oh my God, we should make some muffins.
Snack time.
So with the Flying Flamingos, you're under contract because you had to stop in the middle of the horse girl. How much? What's that contract look like? Do you have some sort the story has to be set within this time period? It has to involve this, or is it, you pitch it and then they say yes, we'll buy what you pitch.
Yes, so for Audible, it was kind of a complicated thing, but what we pitched, I just pitched a bunch of ideas that day in the room, and I had no idea that this was sort of one of those, the Flamingo Sisters was like the bottom of my list, probably one of the last things I pitched. It was, I pitched like a witch story, and what else did a mermaid story. Like it was just, this was one of the last things that I just kind of tossed off. And then of course, that's the one that became the winner. And I'm so glad it was. I'm so glad. It was just such a delight to write. And I was really glad I decided to do it like a radio play, because it's more like, it's a hybrid of a script and a book. So it was more similar to the writing I was used to doing in terms of script writing and a lot of dialogue. But then I kind of got to have it both ways because I also got to have a narrator who could offer context and exposition. And I absolutely love this genre. I hope that there's more to do in this, and I hope this category expands because, oh man, it's so much fun to be able to have both toolkits at your disposal in terms of like the scripting elements and the music and then also the narrator to connect everything together. And it's like they always say it's like a movie for your ears or a TV show for your ears, and it completely is.
Well, now that you've been a bestseller, I imagine Audible's trying to lock you down for something new, right?
Well, yes, we might have some news very, very soon about that. I'll tell as soon as I can tell you, I will tell you. But yes, I think we might get to, the adventure may continue.
Oh, so we may allegedly see more of the Flying Flamingo Sisters.
That's the hope. I think so. I think that's the hope. And it did end. But
probably not Cedric the Caterpillar. It seemed pretty definitive for him.
Poor Caterpillar. He was over. But you never count anyone out in the Flamingo Sisters.
I'm sure he'll be the Kaiser Soze of the second book.
Well, the best part for me was the book has gotten so many great comments. We have more than 5,000 reviews on Audible, which is just like really unheard. I mean, I'm shocked and so thrilled by. We just hit 5,000 today, so
Congratulations. That's a
I
huge
need to get a
milestone.
bell to ring or something. But the best part is I've gotten these wonderful letters from parents and drawings from kids, and it's from people of all ages. There are grandparents who listen to it with their kids. There's aviation, fans who just like the airplane side of things. And there's a lot of kids, boys and girls, who love having a story with 3 strong female protagonists. And they like that they're confident girls, and the kids get a lot of they like the silly humor, and the adults like the family story. So I'm really proud. I'm really, really proud of it, and it's just wonderful to get these letters. I've tried to handwrite notes back to everybody I can. And the one complaint is that it was a bit of a cliffhanger ending, so I'd like to fix that for everyone.
Well, it seemed like maybe not the big move at the time, but now you have the opportunity to come back allegedly and bring everybody. Maybe it was a pretty smart move. Pretty savvy.
I'm not going to say I planned it in advance, but.
So, with something like that, I assume you sell it, and this is something that would make me a little bit nervous, but that's probably because I don't have your Groundlings experience and your experience of writing scripts for others to perform. Does that, do you feel kind of a lack of control? Whereas with Horse Squirrel, not only is every word of that book your word or your edited word that you approved, and then you read the audiobook, so it's read exactly the way you would want it to be read. Whereas I'm sure the cast members are all wonderful, but you've got jokers reading your stuff that's not you. That's got to be, I'd assume that they don't let you come to all of the recordings and give line readings to to all of the actors. I don't imagine that would be appreciated.
Well, I have to say, we had the most incredible cast. I mean, they just blew me away. These folks are geniuses. They've been doing it for years. They're very, we have one of our cast members was on Broadway. Others have won the Audie Awards for Audible recording, and they're just insanely good, and they're so smart, and they bring so much to the table. Also, I got to work with this incredible director, Thomas Mann. He's just the best. He also came from the kids' television animation side of things, and he was just absolutely wonderful. But I did have to tell myself, you are not the director. Put your director hat, put your writer hat outside. Let Thomas. Thank goodness we had Thomas, because I trust him completely, and I was able to just let that all go and let him worry about that, and let me be the fun actor for the day, which I've done before, and I just had to remember, for today, I didn't write this, I'm not directing it. I'm just a fun girl who's here for the day, and she's getting paid to do some silly voices. Let's have fun. And I really, really had to do that. And the best part is, yes, of course, you've heard lines in your head one way, but then you hear these really cover something new, and they just take this to an amazing level. And mostly I was just, wow, why, I didn't even realize how great that could sound. They do a lot of the work for you. It's amazing.
And I assume in the sequel that may or may not be happening, we're going to see a lot more lines for Franny now. Since we know who's playing her, we know we like that performance.
You know what? Oh gosh, there's so that I like. Oh, I think almost every single character. They're all so good, and they're all so different and fun. And it's there's a lot of melodrama in this one because it's a radio play. And we get to have more fun than in it just a straight read. So I'm excited for all of the voices and the characters. And I'm not saying that if there is a sequel, but if there were, there might be even some new characters. So that could be really fun too. We'll see who they might meet should they continue their journey.